I see. You're a man of culture as well.
Welcome to the Culture Tea Time podcast. This is our second podcast. I'm Orotonsta and I'm joined with my co-host Alex and Nushi. How you going, boys?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, not too bad. Bit tired.
What's the time where you are? 3 p.m.
No, it's 1 p.m.
1 p.m. and you're tired.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, today we've planned to talk about our fall seasons, our nominations from the Anime Club. But first, I'd like to welcome our first special guest, longtime member and moderator of our Discord server, the King of Classics, Cameron.
Hey, yes, that's me. I'm the king. I used to be called the Pope. I like both names.
The Pope. Where did the Pope come from?
I just think it's a funny name. That's why. I like changing my handle from time to time, and I just think Pope is kind of funny sounding.
Okay. And
It's up there with
And
the
where
God
did
King.
where did YCC come from?
Oh, that is, yeah. I don't think I mentioned that one. That was the name before the name of that one. That stands for Yui Cuddling Club because I'm the Yui Cuddling Club leader. I own the club. Yui Hirasawa from K-On!
Is it an actual club or did you just is it a solo member?
I'm the only member allowed.
You're the only member allowed.
Yeah, but it's still the official club though.
You know, you got two fans here of Yui with Nushi and Alex.
Yeah, but they're
Yes,
not part of
they
the club.
were.
Well, Cameron, we do a Who's That Character? I don't know if you saw it last time where we post up. You remember the old Pokemon where you'd have Who's That Pokemon?
Yeah.
So I did one last week. I'm gonna transition the Twitch stream to Who's That Character. If you want to have a quick look, I don't know if you'll be able to guess who you think that is.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you know?
Can I guess, or is
Yeah,
this
you,
just
you
the
can
build
guess
up?
this one.
That's a Monkey D. Luffy.
Yes, it is. I think who did we have? We had Lelouch the first time. Now we got Monkey this time. Have you seen One Piece yourself?
I'm huge into One Piece. I'm not caught up. I rarely am, but I'm like halfway through the Wano arc. Like I know what's happening in it. I just haven't like read it.
I'm only up to around about 300. I'm really keen on doing a One Piece in a month challenge, but it's got to be when we're not doing like 40 seasonal shows. This season is a banger for shows. There's so many.
You know, people give One Piece a lot of heck for being super long, but I think you could you could be caught up in a month if you're just like dedicated. But not even like dedicated. If you just like have it on your phone, like you could totally do it. I read like 500 chapters across like 2 weeks.
I actually remember watching the dub of it, which at the time was around 500 episodes. I managed to finish that in about, I think, a bit over a month. But that wasn't as long as it, but, you know, it could probably be done in, it was only about maybe half the length as it is now.
Right. Yeah, the show itself would probably take a lot longer, but if you're reading it, that you could do that, you know, for sure.
The one of the other things we do is say happy birthday to some of the characters that we know that have had their birthday in the last week. So there was a few last time. I think Naruto was the last birthday, and this time there's only a couple that I picked out that I liked the characters of, or I thought that you guys might know who the characters were. Lots of supporting characters. So here we have Yuffie. She's probably like got the most tragic story, I think, from most of the characters I've seen. I know Catholi's story is pretty tragic as well, but I remember this catching me off guard. Have you seen Code
Yeah.
Geass?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen I've seen season 1.
Okay, so you would have seen what happened to Yuffie in season 1, I think.
Yeah.
What about
Based.
Alex? You Code Geass is your
It is
Lelouch.
one of my favourites. Yeah.
Now I don't watch much sports anime, but have you guys seen is it pronounced Haikyuu?
Yeah, Haikyuu.
Yeah. I've
Like,
seen the first
wow.
season.
Yeah, no, never
I've
watched it.
seen half of the first season, but I think I know this guy. I've seen him around. I see him on Twitter from time to time.
He's one of the characters I've seen a fair bit, so I'm assuming he's popular. Actually, looking for pictures for him for this birthday card. There's a heap of him with cats, so I'd like to know what the story is there. It's actually made me interested to watch the show just to find out his story.
That's all it takes.
That's all it
Cats.
takes. Have you guys seen? You guys watching My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've not started the new season yet. I'm waiting for the dub. I'm used to My Hero Academia dubbed.
Season 6 was off to a great start. I'm pretty happy with season 6 so far. But I'm a big fan of Mirko as well.
I like
yeah.
Ejiro. He's cool. He's a
Yeah,
fun character.
I actually didn't know what his real name was. I only remember him as Red Riot.
I think I normally remember him by his last name, but I'd have to think about it. Like I'm not. I know all the characters and I like them all, but the names are kind of tricky. But I remember Kirishima.
So
I just said Ejiro because it's in front of me.
Kirishima. Who's his partner? Is the lightning, the Sparks guy? What's his name?
Uh,
Oh, yeah,
Denki, I think.
Yeah,
Or
Kaminari.
something like that. Because
I
Denki means electric, so it's probably something like that.
I
Yeah,
saw
it's
I saw things online about him. Someone asking what's the most important thing to him in the world, and he turned around and stared at was it who's the phone jack girl? What's her name?
Jiro.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jiro.
and I was like, oh, so there's a bit of a ship in the series, which is pretty cool. They seem fit for each other anyway. So yeah, Red Riot's birthday is 16th of October, and so this is tomorrow's date. But by the time this comes up on YouTube, it'll be as of today.
So it's who I'm thinking of.
Elena's birthday. I really liked Wondering Witch.
Oh yes. Yeah, she was the best witch.
Yeah, she was the best witch.
Yeah, actually, I haven't watched that one. Oh, I've seen one episode of it.
What did you think of what you saw?
I saw the one like controversial episode. I was watching it with a friend who was like he was what do you call it? Like hesitant to start the show because he heard of like the one controversial episode, and then we were just like, let's just watch the controversial episode. And we watched it, and I thought it was still pretty good, but like he didn't want to watch it after that. But it wasn't. I mean, that one episode I thought was cool, but I don't know. It wasn't like a priority at the time for me to watch.
So next, I wanted to talk about, I guess, Cam's journey into anime.
Yeah. Let's see where to start. Let's start like this. I'm 21 now. I turned so a couple months ago, and I've completed a little over 1,100 or so anime. So I've come quite a ways. But it all started probably like literally a decade ago when I was 12. I had seen anime growing up before that, but not as anime. You know, just like Yu-Gi-Oh on TV, and you know those were American cartoons when I was a kid because I didn't know. I didn't know that anything happened anywhere else in the world. I had no understanding. I
Yeah, it
thought
took me a long time. It took me a
I
long
thought
time to realize Pokemon was anime.
the only two languages in the world were English and Spanish. And that was it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, before I knew of anime, like specifically, I had seen a couple. I'd known of Sergeant Frog, which I don't think many people remember it anymore, but man, that show's awesome. I still watch it. It's hilarious. It's like Gintama if you know that, but kind of even more out there and kind of dumber, but in a fun way. And what else was it? Like Dragon Ball Z, and I'd known all that stuff. But I'd known of anime specifically, not just like cartoons and then adult cartoons, but anime when I was about 12. And I remember it was me and my two brothers, and I think our parents were out of the house. And my older brother was like, "Hey guys, check this shit out. You won't believe it." And then we watched like the first two episodes of two like shows that I think had just come out. I don't know how he heard of them. Maybe somebody told him because I think we all watched them for the first time together. But my first for real foray into anime was Madoka Magica and the show Free, which
The
that
swimming
sets the
show.
baseline. Sets the baseline for the rest of my anime journey.
Did you say Free as in the swimming show?
Yes,
I only
I
just
love
watched
Free.
that like 2 months ago.
It's great. I still like Free.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm not a big. I wouldn't say I don't like sports anime. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I haven't really watched a lot of it, and the ones I have watched, I've actually enjoyed. So I'm not sure why I kind of every time I see it, I just sort of skip over it.
I think a lot of people do that. I think it's because like anime and sports fans are like natural enemies. So I think it's that. But I don't know. I grew up kind of liking both, so it was easy for me. I grew to like sports. I wasn't huge into them, but once I understood it, I started liking it more.
I don't
Like football
mind.
and football, I guess.
I don't mind the anime that that captures like the sports that I play. So I liked what was it, Pride of Orange, which had that kind of like idol ice hockey kind of mix up, and I thought that was cute. I didn't mind that, and but I really
Wait,
liked Birdie Wing, which was the golf one.
I'm saying ice hockey.
Yeah, Pride of Orange.
Oh, I misheard you. I thought you were mispronouncing isekai in a really weird way.
I did as well. Yeah, I thought that.
Isekai.
I thought it's isekai. Isn't it pronounced isekai?
Ice hockey. No, yes, ice hockey.
But ice hockey, yeah.
Yeah.
Glad
Oh,
you mentioned
ice
that.
hockey. Oh, ice
Yes.
hockey. Oh, right.
Oh, blame my
I'm glad,
accent.
I'm glad you brought it up because I was actually gonna ask, like, hey, I wonder if they make any hockey anime because I haven't seen any, but now they do.
Pride
So
of
that's cool.
Orange was the first one that I have seen. I haven't heard of or seen any others. It's not really about ice hockey as it is about cute girls playing ice hockey and then doing the pretty derby dances at the end of their hockey games. So it's kind of like
Awesome.
that.
My favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
next time I get
there's a
you
lot of
a
great sports
nomination,
shows.
I'll give it to you.
Sure, I'm cool with that. I like ice hockey enough.
So I wanted to talk about, or just quickly go through maybe what your top 3 anime are. Maybe go through them one at a time from 3 down to 1.
All right, sounds cool. Based.
So what's your say third favorite anime?
All right. I should disclaim that all of my all my favorites of all kind of swap places, so it's just however I'm feeling at the time. But for the most part, I would say number 3 is K-On!
Is there a particular season that you like more than the rest, or do you like the movie more?
I would say season 2 is the best of the whole thing, but K-On! Is the kind of show where it's not like every season kind of has its or like the seasons and the movie have like a different feel to them. It all just kind of like builds on top of each other. So like whatever the last part of it is probably the best part because it's all been dominoing.
I liked. I like K-On! Enough that it inspired the name for our podcast and our Discord server.
Yeah, K-On's awesome. It's world famous, even though it's not. It's kind of not, but it's rippled into way more popular things. Great.
Yeah. Is it? Well, I already know this, but who's your favorite character in K-On?
My favorite is Sumugi, who Sumugi really Mugi Kotobuki. She really grew on me because like I think for most anime fans, if you were to like even to like list the 5 characters in the show the first time you watch it, Sumugi is probably the one you would forget. But I think like I've seen the show count by like 3 or 4 times all the way through, and like Sumugi is the most fun personality. I think she's inherently likable. I think, and I like all the main characters, but Sumugi I think is the best. And then Yui is close behind.
Yeah, I understand that. I was a big fan of Azusa the first time I went through the series, but I've been watching it with my daughter and on rewatch, and yeah, Mugi's the one that's probably grown on me the most, and she's probably contender for my favorite character. Just watching her, and sort of just focusing on not trying to keep up with the story, but sort of just enjoying the show for what it is now that I already know what's going on. Yeah, she's just an absolute gem in the show.
Yeah, movie is
This is
also
great.
my favorite. Then Azunion. Those are definitely my favorites when I just watched it. I still need to watch the movie though.
I would definitely pick Yui easily.
Yui is great. Yui's character arc is really something to behold. Like for a show with nothing happening, like it does kind of like when you rewatch it from the beginning, Yui does kind of feel like a totally different character than how she ends up.
She's a bit of a dunce, I found, but she
Oh yeah, well, that's why I like her.
I don't really think that she is a dunce. I think she's just sort of that carefree and doesn't really care about so much what might happen or doesn't happen. She's just one of those little carefree people.
Somebody said that Yui has like an amazing superpower of like focus because she's good at whatever it is she's trying to do, but she can only do like one thing at a time.
Oh, that's just men.
Because
Like that's like every man I know.
well,
Hyper
that's
focus
true,
on one thing.
if
I
you,
especially
like,
can't focus on more than one.
like in the show, Yui like she learns guitar pretty quick, Like guitar takes like years to learn, and she kind of picks it up fairly quick. And then when she has to do the test, like she's failing, but then she studies and gets like a 97% or something. But she forgets how to play guitar. Like she is really smart. She's just like not coordinated.
What I find funny is how like Ritsu gets no love from anybody.
Yeah, that sucks. Which is,
It's,
the best in her own way.
she kind of reminds me of Itsuki and Quintessential Quintuplets. Like
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just a really solid character, but doesn't get a lot of fan support. What's your next? What's number 2 on your list, Cam?
my number 2 is my number 1 anime. Like I said, they all change. So depending on how you ask me, these two will switch the most. But number 2 for now is Neon Genesis Evangelion, the most well-made show ever. Period.
It's the first show that got me into anime.
It's really like I couldn't say enough about Ava. Like for the weird like traumatizing mind like headache that it is. I've seen it like way too many times. Probably more than any other anime. Like honestly.
Do you have a favorite character?
Probably Misato.
Oh,
I mean, I
yes.
like them all. I love
Yes.
them all, but I do love Misato.
I was gonna say that's my favorite character. My
When I
first
fir-
crush was on Masato.
when I first watched it, I think my favorite character was Ray, but she's kind of slipped down a little bit. Not because I dislike her, but I don't know, just like I understood Asuka and Misato and Shinji a lot more, and Ray, like her story kind of works on like a weird meta level. Like once you understand it, there's not a lot to it. It's like, oh wow, she's a weird robot girl. She has no personality, and that's kind of the joke.
Do you have a favorite arc or fight scene?
First fight scene with Shinji, because you can kind of see it like that has like the longest effect of any of the other ones. Like you can like the way it's directed is like first off great. It's really well done, and you can see callbacks to it like throughout the rest of the show and how it's affecting Shinji and his mental state. But it's also like kind of cut in a way that's really interesting, where like you only see the first half of it at first, and then the second episode you see like references to it in like other characters and how they're treating Shinji, and then you kind of see the rest of it in the next episode. But I'm partial to a lot of the fights. Uh, I I like my favorite arc. I was thinking about a bunch of different ones, but I'd have to say the last 2 episodes. They're real crazy, but I do love them.
And what is your next one?
Next favorite anime?
Yes.
Card Captor Sakura. The most cheerful, delightful show ever made.
I actually totally forgot that I watched this as a kid when it was airing. And it was so good. It was my first experience of knowing like tarot cards. Like I didn't know what that
Yeah,
was, and you didn't know that they were tarot cards until later, like when I was a teenager. And I'm like, oh, I remember hearing, the Joker and all these other, the Hangman. It's like, oh, from Cardcaptor
yeah,
Sakura.
yeah. Card Captor Sakura is another one where you kind of see its effect in a lot of things. Like I've known it. I've seen like the first 2 episodes when I was a kid, and then I totally forgot about it. And then I saw it referenced a bunch of times. It's like, God, I know this from somewhere. Golly gee, but where is it? And then I finally took a dive into watching it because I really wanted to watch Subasa Chronicle Reservoir, but some idiot online told me that it like the author who makes both these shows, Clamp, have like real complicated like timelines and parallel universes. That's true, but it doesn't matter. You can watch it in any order. And the guy who told me that is stupid. But I just thought that I had to watch Cardcaptor Sakura first. And at the time I was like, damn, I don't want to watch a show for little girls. That's dumb. But then I did, and I was like, oh, this is the only kind of show I like. I forgot.
This is the only show. That's funny.
It's great.
Have you, Alex or Nushi, seen Cardcaptor Sakura?
Nope.
No, I'm hoping to see it though.
Oh.
Wait, once I get it in the anime rotation, I'm definitely planning to see it.
So you're waiting for someone in the anime club to give it to you?
You probably know who will give it.
Oh well, bang on now. If I get you, I'm going to give it to you.
So I think
I struggle with nominations sometimes. It's because
a red herring.
if I haven't spoken to anybody recently about what they're after, then I sort of just got to pick things. What about you, Nishi? You seen Cardcaptor Sakura?
No, I haven't. I'm not opposed to watching it though. I know absolutely nothing about it, but I'll watch it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just me and Cam are the A team in this one, I think. So, Cam, what about your favorite characters? Who's number 3 on your list?
Number 3, Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. And we haven't talked about it yet, but oh boy, that's probably the next show in my top anime. It's Yu Yu Hakusho. It's real something else.
I know someone that will be very, very happy that you've mentioned him as your favorite character.
Yes,
Well,
I know some too.
yeah. Well, we agree on very few, but I'm glad we have some.
I remember when you said that you liked it, I thought you were like pulling his chain. So I'm like, I don't know anyone other than Matt that likes this, and then you were like, no, it's great. So, oh, okay.
It is. It's amazing. It's I mean, people say that Hunter x Hunter is better because it's by the same author, and I see where they're coming from. But I think the overall character arc that you see Yusuke going through is real something powerful. Like if you guys ever get around to it, and I know some of you have said that you're not too interested. I get that, but if you could at least watch the first episode, you will see like a kid really stuck in like a place in the world.
I was going to say it's on my queue for in long form anime, so I'm watching Fairy Tail at the moment. Then I'm going to do One Piece, and then probably after One Piece will be
I'll never
this
finish
one.
One Piece.
No, I'll do it till I'm up with the season, then I'll just watch the season episodes as they come out. But then I'll jump onto this one. It is on the list, but I haven't prioritized it. I had the choice between this one and Inuyasha at the start of the year, and I chose Inuyasha.
This one is actually on my. This one is on my priority of longer anime to watch. But I don't watch longer anime very often.
I'll try and keep away from the spoilers because a lot of what's great is how he kind of changes and grows into a real human being. But Togashi Yoshihira, hopefully I got his last name right. I'm a little spacey, but Togashi, I know that much. He's a real smart guy. You can tell in the way that he writes that he understands a lot of things, and he really had like an angle when he came up with Yusuke. He's like an adult who really understands people and how they act and why they do what they do, and so he created a character study of like something that was popular in the 90s, which is like the rough and tumble, delinquent kid. And then it's just the whole show is like what would cause somebody to be that way. Like if you've seen like Saturday Night Fever, excuse me, with John Travolta, it's kind of like that. So it's about demons instead of dancing, but it's not about disco, but it's got a disco vibe. It's all 90s.
Was there a particular moment that you were like, you know what, this guy's so, like really good. He's one of my favorite characters, or did you like him right from the get-go?
I literally from like episode 1, you could tell because this part probably isn't a spoiler to just talk about episode 1. I'd like to be careful, but in episode 1, it's like everyone knows like Yusuke dies. Like he gets hit by a car saving a kid, and he just wanders around as a ghost for a while. But Yusuke just like hangs out as a ghost. And he's like, well, I'm a delinquent asshole, and no one likes me, so fuck it. This is just like cool. I'll just do whatever I want. And you just see him going around into like people he knows, like talking about him now that he's dead, and he's like finally understanding like his place in the world.
That's trippy.
Yeah, like he literally shows up to his own funeral because he thought like no one would care that he would die. And he's seeing people like express their emotions. And it's like, oh, I'm just stupid. Like he's like like Yu Yu Hakusho is about like interpreting other people and what they're going through, which I think Togashi writes a lot about. Like it's a show where Yusuke doesn't know how to communicate his emotions, so he's just angry all the time. And a lot of the people around him are like that too. But because they're acting that way, he doesn't know that they care about him. They're just like, oh, he's being angry, so he probably hates me, and so he just like fights back against that. But now he's like watching people like actually like finally say it.
It's pretty cool. I find it really quite interesting, actually. I'm listening to you talk about this character because it's not what I thought it was. I thought it was just another, I don't know, long form anime. It gave off, I don't know, maybe like Bleach vibes. Not that Bleach is bad.
Yeah,
I like Bleach, but like you start off
I like
with
Bleach.
a human, then he gets Soul Reaper powers, and that was pretty it. And there's some
It,
cool
it is
girls.
pretty similar to Bleach in a lot of ways, but I think Togashi is just like a better writer. I think he had different plans, and Tite Kubo just wanted to tell an action story, and he's good at that. But they're similar concepts, and they kind of go a similar way for a little bit, and then veer off.
What's the power curve like?
It's pretty good. Like it's not like Dragon Ball Z where there's just like transformations. There is one big one, and that sucks. But for most of it, it's not like, oh, this guy is just powerful. It's he has a really interesting ability, and how do we get around it?
Yeah, I like that. That's what I liked about Inuyasha, is that the power curve wasn't really, a next level transformation, the next one and stronger. It's like, oh no, he gets, new abilities that tackle different problems, but those doesn't render the old abilities useless. So it still circles back to it, opposed to, oh, transformation number 2, which is stronger. Transformation number 3, oh, next baddie, which is stronger again. Here's transformation number 4. Like even Bleach does that, and it's frustrating. I think there's 20 odd different transformations and power ups that Ichigo goes through. Ridiculous. So this is Yusuke's 3. All right, who is your number 2?
I will say, but I would like to say one thing first about one last thing about Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, sure.
Like many of these, it's usually like I like the whole cast, and so I like Yusuke more. But there's a sidekick called Kuwabara Kazuma, and he's also amazing. He's like the archetypical like delinquent, but he's got a good heart kind of guy. Like like in episode 3, he makes a deal with the principal that if he does well on a test and he doesn't get in any fights, they won't get expelled or something. And Kazuma just like gets his ass kicked the whole show, but he doesn't throw a punch because like he made a promise. He can't break his word. He's a real hero, and I love him.
That's pretty cool.
I mean,
Kinda
his
like
like famous quote is like a man always does what's right, even if it's not what he wants.
It sounds like the one guy from part 4 of JoJo. The like not
Okyasu?
yeah. Not
Yeah, he is kind of a lot like him. I like Okyasu, but Kuwabara is like a lot better version. I like him though.
yeah.
He's okay. I like how Christopher. I like the dub for Yu Yu Hakusho. I like how Christopher Sabat plays him, even though it's very silly and kind of dumb. It's the most raspy, obnoxious voice possible.
Oh
but
yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Christopher Rabbit is a really good actor.
Listen, you're a meshy. Oh, he's great. It's almost terrible, but it's also really endearing and fun. It's like Vegeta if he was a chain smoker.
I can just imagine Vegeta smoking, actually.
He probably does smoke. Okay. I just want to throw that in there. That I also like Kuwabara. This one might be a tad of a surprise since it's not really anywhere else on my list. But number 2 is Reagan Arataka from Mob Psycho 100. Oh boy, what a hero! What a god king!
I gotta tell you now, I was surprised by this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you were surprised because I don't think Mob Psycho shows up anywhere on any of my lists. Maybe just shy of top 10 shows, but like he is kind of like an unusual suspect, I guess.
Yeah, he is my favorite in Mob Psycho, actually.
Oh, for sure. I like Mob a lot, and I think how especially in season 2, he went from great to amazing. And Reagan also kind of shifted a little bit, but I love Reagan a lot because he's kind of a scumbag. He's not entirely a great person. He's got a real good heart, and he does really care about people. But you can tell he's also like kind of skeevy and kind of cares about himself a little more than other people. But I think that stuff's kind of funny. I know some people that really don't like Reagan for that kind of stuff, and I sympathize. But I think it's handled well enough to not be bad. Like he's a fun character. Oh God, what do I even say? He
Was there a favorite arc?
he's a businessman doing business. My favorite arc is anytime he gives like a long monologue, which is like half of them. Like the best one I think is probably the end of season 1. I won't spoil it in case I don't think you've seen it, maybe. But
I've seen Mob Psycho.
oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, at the end of season 1, when he gives that long speech to the villains, like I wasn't like sad, but I was crying from like, oh, that was awesome. That was so hype.
That's
This
pretty
like
cool.
kind of brutal takedown of like entitlement and people and anime tropes. He just does the Hayao Miyazaki anime is trash and it was invented by people that don't like people. He just says that to them and they like lose all sense of self.
Is
And
the
then
would you put him up there as like high IQ, smart type of people, or just street smart type of people?
he is both. He's more street smart, but you can tell that he has like a lot of like applicable skills. Like he's really good at doing things that are a little like it's kind of a joke. Like what weird thing Reagan is weirdly skilled at doing. Like he's a licensed masseuse. He's a great chef. He's like a programmer. Like he knows how to do a lot of things, but he's also kind of like an idiot and a fuck up. He's mostly street smart, but he does have like a surprising amount of like know how and like how to get things done. My other favorite arc, real well, the smaller favorite is I think the episode 11 of season 1. Mob kind of screws up in like a vase shop and accidentally breaks a vase, and which is a scam. Like it's a multi-level marketing scheme. They're trying to like rope him into, and Reagan just he sees them and it's like, well, I'm a con artist, and if like I know how to fuck around with people and steal their money. I know that's what you're doing, and I know how to get out of this. And in like 30 seconds, it's like every like lawyer's argument. Like he's been to court 100 times and he just knows what to say and he just leaves. It's like, all right, we're done here. In 30 seconds, he like gets rid of all the accusations and leaves. But then again, in season 2, right in the middle, I think episode 5 and 6, which is basically Reagan karma for being such a scumbag and kind of a like fucker, skeevy fucker. He kind of gets punished for that. But like when you kind of see his like backstory, even though it's like not, it's not a sad backstory. It's just like living in society and you're just kind of bored. Like the way everything kind of comes together in the end and how the episode ends. That was another time Reagan made me cry, and he said like, "Oh, you've really grown." It's like, oh, that was so sweet. Reagan's a great guy. He really is.
What about your number one all time?
My favorite character.
Yeah.
Again, there's 2 of them, but technically just Sakura Kinomoto from Cardcaptor Sakura. But I also like her best friend Tomoyo. But mostly Sakura because there's not much to say about her. She's not the only character in the top 3 that has not made me cry. But she's just like she's like a perfect role model for like any person because she only cares about like understanding people and helping them. Like she's only interested in like being a good person
I
and
don't
not really in anything else.
I don't remember the start of Card Captor Sakura. Does she does she always know that she was like had was a magical girl, or
No.
yeah,
She stumbled into it in the well, because the show's initial release in Japan was episode one. She's just like stumbling around, and then there's like a random book in her like dad's bookcase in the basement that knocks out, and it turns out it's a magic book. That's when she kind of learns she has this like bigger responsibility. But then when it was dubbed in like America and in Australia, they changed the episode orders around. So like episode one, she's already like magic and a hero, and it's like the episode Siren Lee is introduced. They make that episode one or some.
right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I don't remember it all too well, but I do remember watching it and enjoying it. It was on just, same time as Sailor Moon and Pokemon and
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z. Well, cool.
it's a great show, and she's a great girl.
Yeah, I
And
respect it.
Tomio is who I am as a person. I
Interesting.
identify as being Tomoyo.
Again, I don't really remember too many of the other characters in Cardcaptor Sakura. Sounds like I need a rewatch actually, by the sound of that.
You should. It's amazing.
Did you watch it dub or sub?
I watched it subbed. A lot of people say that the dub is like one of the better ones, and I am somebody who's just like hard on dubs. I didn't really like it. They mispronounced a lot of characters' names, which is annoying to me. Like it's just not. I personally don't think it's that good. Plus, with all the weird localization stuff, like when it was originally brought to America and they changed everything around, it's kind of hard to find the card captor Sakura and not card captors or. But it's just it's a little muddied, and I watched it subbed, and I
That's.
like that.
I think if I was to
Plus,
rewatch it, I'd watch it subbed as well.
plus I like Sakura Tange's voice acting.
I've seen clips of the Japanese voice, and she sounds adorable. Yeah.
She is
What's the name of the little bear thing that she's holding?
Caraberos,
That's it.
which this isn't super important, but I think it's kind of funny that his real name is Cerberus, but they
Yes.
don't have those like syllables in Japan, so they call him Caraberos. But they don't like calling him that because that's a long, complicated name. So Sakura just calls him Karo, which in Japanese, Karo is the like the croak a frog makes, and she just thinks that's cuter, so she calls him that. Like if it was translated perfectly, his name would be like Ribbit.
Ribbit. I like that for a nickname, actually, Ribbit. Well, I wanted to move on to our fall 2022 seasonals that we're all watching. So, what are the shows you're watching at the moment, Cam?
So one of them is a show from technically the season before last, but goodness, I want to bring it up, which is Delicious Party Precure. I love shows for little girls. It's the new one of those. But that's all we have to talk about. I just want to get it back in the zeitgeist.
Is
Anyway,
is
moving on.
quickly question: is a Precure an idol or is it like a magical girl show?
It's a magical girl. There's a lot of like fist fights in it.
Okay, cool.
Like it's a show for kids, but it does have like some really good fight choreography from time to time. Anyway, moving on. The next shows I'm watching are Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, and Do It Yourself. Oh, and Boichi the Rock.
Chainsaw Man is brilliant. Have you read the manga?
No, I somewhat avoided it, not because I thought it would be bad, but just something about like I don't know, just it didn't seem like my kind of thing at the time, so I was just gonna wait it out until it was either finished or over or something when the hype was run out. Uh, but then they made a TV show of it, and then I saw the opening for it, and it looked amazing, so I had to check it out, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I stopped. I'm stopped around about chapter 65 in the manga. I didn't want to get too far ahead of the anime because I really wanted to just like watch the anime and enjoy it. And I thought if I knew what happened with some of the characters, down the track, it might spoil the enjoyment of the anime. You know how like
Maybe.
what's a good example? Like knowing a character dies in like book 6, when in book 1 there's a will this character die or not situation. Knowing that they are alive in book 6 to die in book 6 means that they survive in book 1, and so it loses that suspense. And so I was like, when I was starting to get to about chapter 60, I was like, oh, I better hold off on this because I want to experience that suspense when I watch the anime.
Yeah.
Nushi, Cam, are you guys? I take it both of you guys are also watching Chainsaw Man.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes,
watching.
loving it.
Yeah. I'm holding off until like, or not. I mean, like, not holding off and like from watching it, but like, I'm holding off on giving any like major thoughts on it until like 3 episodes are out. I mean, like, because the first episode was good. I liked how they introduced the MC basically. Like, I really liked that. But as an overall, I don't know how it's going to rank compared to some of the other stuff in the season.
I
Because
don't
I
know.
think like other stuff, like in other stuff, I think blew me away or that I liked more than Chainsaw Man's first episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems that I think are being overshadowed by Spy Family, Chainsaw Man, particularly. I know Bleach has had a bit of hype recently, but I don't think it's as getting as much views or as much attention as some of the other anime.
Yeah, I'm surprised it ended up number 1 on MAL, I must say.
We'll circle back to that one. Yeah, with Chainsaw Man, after reading the manga and what they're up to, I was really happy with what they did. But I have to say that opening is by far one of my favorite openings I've ever seen. Have you guys all seen the references?
Oh yeah, that specifically is what got me to watch it because half of it is just like Quentin Tarantino, and I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of him. So
Yep.
it's like, oh, it's just Okay, so Chainsaw Man is like gory, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Got it. It sounds like my kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh, and Big Lebowski. Oh my god.
Yes, when I saw that, that's
Oh,
actually the first time I recognized the references was when I saw him cleaning the bowling ball. I'm like, oh, isn't that from the Lebowski? And then I'm like watching some of the other, I'm like, ah, okay. And then I saw posts and everyone going on about all of these other references. I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, there's a few I didn't recognize and a few I must have missed, but I was like,
if I had
it's
watched
pretty
it,
cool. I rewatched it and I'm like, there's so many. The team that put that together did a really good job.
if I had watched it like without knowing the references, I feel like I would have still picked out some of them, but some of them definitely got lost on me.
Yeah,
Like
I definitely. I
there's
have
one that's like
seen.
I just don't know that movie.
Yeah, I've seen all those movies, but I literally did not. I mean, none of them are like my favorite movie of all time, or probably even make my like top 50. So I like didn't recognize any of the references until I saw the like a lot of the pictures just comparing them side by side, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool.
To be honest, I haven't seen most of the films that he was referencing at all, so I didn't really pick up on references.
Mate, you need to get onto that movie club on the silver screen club with King of Blondes and start watching. Some of them are absolute classics.
Like, do you say King of Blondes or KOB or Cop? 'Cause
I
sometimes
say
I'll just
King
say
of
Cop.
Blondes.
I say
I
KOB.
always
Yeah, I usually say KOB in my head.
I normally say King of Blondes in my head, I must say.
I do say Matt though. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's his name, so that's what I generally refer to him. I never refer to Nushi as Evan though. That's probably a bizarre one. But I usually think to myself, oh, Max, opposed to Evie or Kill the Man. I always actually think for yourself, YCC. Whenever I think about it, every time you haven't used YCC in bloody ages because yeah, you were Pope before King of Classics, and so I saw YCC. Now, I did want to talk about you. You said that you were also watching. Is it Bokchi or Bokchi the Rock? Is that how you pronounce it?
Bochi.
Bochi. This was a brilliant show, and I wasn't going to watch it except Joe put a picture up and was like top 3, and I was like, really? Like we're both watching 30 shows. I'm like, it's one episode and you're already calling it top 3. And then I watched it. I'm like, yeah, I respect it. Like it's a it's a really good start, and it wasn't one that I was going to pick up.
Yeah, I forget what made me want to check it out, but I'm glad I did. It's got like the best slice of life in quite a bit. It's not just like kind of doing the tracks. Like you can tell it's built different a little bit. Teehee.
The comedy is really cool. Like, and I don't know the name of the lead character, the female character in it, but she's cool. Like her internal monologues, and then how it comes out and how she's communicating with the other bandmates is really cool.
Her name is Hitori. I remember
Tori.
because it's Hitori Bochi is the joke.
Oh
'Cause
yeah, I
that means
watched
I'm always alone.
I don't understand.
Hitori
Hitori
Bochi. Yeah,
means like oneself, and Bochi is like kind of like your state. So Hitori Bochi means I'm by myself.
Oh, is there a reference to that? I know it's Boji.
In the in the show, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of Ranking of Kings, but his name's Boji, I think, not Bochi.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
not. That's coincidental.
So is Hitori Bochi the anime? Is that what? Is it? Have you been talking about the anime Hitori Bochi?
No, Boji
Yes.
the Rock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that called? I don't know what it's called in Japanese.
There's
Hitori
another
Bochi is-
show called Hitori Bochi,
Oh,
but
okay.
her name is
Yeah.
Hitori, and they call her Bochi
Yeah.
because it's funny.
Yeah. So that's a different one. Yeah, that one is a good show as well. I must say.
Now you're also
That's not
watching
seasonal.
Do It Yourself.
Yes, that's a cool one. I love its art style. It's a little. I mean, it's not super unique, but it does like stand apart from the other shows being that's out there.
Yes, 100%. When I saw it, I thought, oh, art style's different, and I couldn't pick it. And then I spent the whole show trying to figure out what it reminded me of. But the the girl that gets what's the lead character that gets all the bandages, like, constantly getting
You
hurt?
are Seraphim.
Yeah, see, I'm terrible with that. I got to watch 4 or 5 episodes before I start remembering their names.
Well, that one's easy to remember. It's in the name. It's that's her name is yourself.
See, I didn't get that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I missed that reference. I'm terrible.
You are Seraphim.
Oh, now I remember it. Thanks. How did you find this one? Did you know about it before it?
I think one of you guys like posted a GIF of it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." Let me see about that one.
Might have been
I,
Joe.
I love the main character. I like that she's covered in bandages. I don't know why, but I think that's cool.
I picked it up from Joe. It was another one. Joe was like, "This is great," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch it," and it's great.
Let me see if I can. I won't find the character design. Let me see.
All right. Why don't we move on, Alec? What are the extra ones that you're watching this month?
Spy X Family.
Oh yeah.
Also, Urusi Yatsuri.
Yep.
How do you pronounce it?
Utsura Yatsura.
Yeah, I'm not good with Japanese names at all. Also Blue Lock as well. And of course, I absolutely love Chainsaw Man, but we've already gone through that.
I'm really enjoying it. Anya
Yeah.
has grown on me in this episode. Like, I don't know. I thought she was a bit annoying in season 1, part
Oh, really?
1, but season 1, part 2, I was like, okay,
I must say, I've really loved Anya. I must say, right from the beginning. I must say.
Yeah, I was about to say she like carried the anime for me in season 1. Yeah, she was the entire reason why I watched the anime.
Yours the entire reason I watched this show.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to make sure she lives up to the fan art. I do.
Yeah, I'm not like. I mean, I like her fan art, but like, yeah, I don't know. She's not on my list of waifus.
Oh, she's top 10.
I do really like Yorba, I must say. I'm definitely a fan of Yorba. I prefer, Anu is my favourite, though, yeah.
I want to talk about the Spy Fam. I really like what they did with this dog. Like,
Oh, yes,
I
that was really cool.
I was not expecting that as an outcome. And when you see her interaction with the dog, and then how the dog's helping her, and his gift, I'm like, that's really cool, really unique and really cool. And I like that she's the only one that can understand him. But I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, I like. I think he's actually right. At least I haven't seen the new episode that came out today, or it's today for me. But I think I think he's probably like the funniest part of the show now. Like the dog was hilarious to me, especially his like little like borf bark, which was I think is fucking hilarious. I really like the dog. So
Now you said the next one was Urusei Yatsura. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Well, we know what it is. Yeah,
Is it
the one with Lum.
Is it? Have you seen the original?
No, I haven't actually. I've known of it for quite a while, but I haven't actually seen the original. No.
What about you, Cam or Nisha? You guys seen the original?
Yeah, I have. Not all of it, but probably like the first 20 or 30 episodes of it.
Do you think you'll watch one or two episodes of this new one?
I
Or
probably
skip?
will check it out, but like it's kind of in a weird place. Like I don't, because the way it was first written by Rumiko Takahashi, like Lum wasn't supposed to be like actually a real important character in it. It was supposed to just be about the main character,
Oh, wow.
Araboshi. I think that's his name. Just kind of like fucking around with aliens, and Lum just happens to be the first one. But there's so much push for her that she comes back. So I think the beginning of the show kind of is a little stilted because of that, at least originally. I think the first part might be a little tough to watch again because it's just kind of like a one-off event initially.
Yeah.
But the second half I'm predicting will probably be a lot better because it's either original or it's just like handpicked of the best stuff.
I have no idea what it's about. I've never seen the original. I haven't even heard of the original. I didn't even know this was based off an original until someone in Discord was talking about how awful it looks compared to the old one. Um,
I think
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, okay,
no,
there's an old one.
that's like Lum is like the first anime waifu, like for real. Like there were
Okay.
characters
Yeah.
before her, but she was like the moe like waifu character.
I've heard that 02 was basically like it was basically almost like a copy of her in a way.
Oh,
I've
that's
heard that
interesting.
too, but I don't know enough about Darling in the Franxx to confirm or deny. But
Okay.
it seems like she's sort of based on her.
See, that makes me want to watch this now, which I'm fine to watch it, but man, 46 episodes for one season? Are they doing this back to back? Because I don't know if I have the stomach
Is it
to.
46 episodes?
Yeah, it's 46 episodes.
Oh, that's a lot more than I thought. I thought it would just be 13. Okay, then when I said half of it, it'll probably be good after the first like 2 or 3 episodes, which I know is like a big commitment, kind of. But you know, the first episode might be a little off. I'm predicting, and then everything else will be okay.
It depends how they capture it, I guess.
This anime seemed like, I mean, at least like when people were describing it, it literally seemed a lot to me like To Love Ru, and To Love Ru is one of my all-time favorite shows. So I'd be willing to give it a watch, but I'll probably wait till after it's all out and then watch it. Because
Yeah, I'll probably wait a little bit too. Oh, I just pulled it up. It was made by David Production, the guys who do JoJo. Nice.
yeah,
I
it
think
definitely had that kind of like shiny vibe, which I liked. It was like really
Yeah,
cool.
Yes.
I love how
Yeah.
Lum's hair looks.
I
I think
like how
Yeah.
it
Lum's
looks.
hair is like more accurate to the manga than the original, because in the manga
Yeah.
it's like supposed to be rainbow, like it's supposed to be shifting colors, but in the anime they just
Oh,
made it like straight cyan. But
like
because it's so shiny, it looks kind of rainbow.
it's supposed to be like
Yeah.
that chroma iridescent kind of looking color
Yeah,
changing. That's cool.
It's supposed to be color changing.
That
At
makes
least
me
a
like
little
it
bit.
more because when I saw the picture of her hair, I was like, oh, I like it. It's interesting, but I didn't understand it. I was just, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. But hey, that makes me like it more.
It's kind of like a now that I'm really looking at it, it's like a cool middle ground because you know, like I said, the manga is supposed to be a rainbow, and the anime just made it like cyan because that was too hard to animate, I guess. But it's still like cyan, like how fans remember, but it's also metallic and shiny, like how it's supposed to be. It's a
I was
nice
gonna
middle
say
ground.
the original looked like it was just like a super dark green. It didn't even look like cyan at all. Um, At least
Uh,
from the image I saw, it could have been just like the lighting and the still image that I saw, but like,
you're probably right, but and I'm just
yeah,
like mixing up words. But it is
yeah.
like dark green for most of it, kind of a dark blue green. Colors are
So,
weird and hard.
Yeah.
Sea foam, I don't know.
but yeah, it seemed a lot like To Love Ru, and To Love Ru is one of my all-time favorite like rom-coms, and it seemed like it was almost felt like a copy of To Love Ru to me. Like, even though this came out first, but like,
Yeah.
This came out in
The other way around, if
1970
anything.
some.
yeah. So like, at least to me, it feels like, oh, this feels like how To Love Ru is, but maybe it's not like, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I love about To Love Ru is all the like serious stuff in the later 3 seasons rather than like the first season, and it kind of seems like this whole show is like the first season of To Love Ru, just longer, just twice the length, basically.
Yurusei Yatsura is for rom-coms what like Dragon Ball is for adventure shows. Like no matter how many degrees of separation, it always goes back to these. Like it just started a craze.
Yeah. I've known about the original for quite a while. This is the opportunity to actually to watch it, basically to like, watch it through the remake.
I think if I don't watch it in this remake now, I probably won't watch it. Like 46 episodes. If it goes back to back, I probably won't sit down and just binge 46 episodes of this, seeing as I have so many other 50 plus episode shows to catch up on or watch that will soak up my
Yeah.
time. So if I watch it now, one episode a week, it's going to be so much more manageable.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's another thing. They're probably not going to remake it, but there was a pretty big in part of Urusei Yatsura, the movies, specifically the second movie, Beautiful Dreamer. I'm trying to remember the guy, Mamoru Oshii, maybe, or the guy who does Ghost in the Shell directed uh, the movie, and it's like known as like even if you don't know Urusei Yatsura, it's like a classic anime movie. I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
seen it yet, unfortunately, but I know enough about the show to probably enjoy it. If you do end up liking the show, it's probably worth it to go back, watch a couple random episodes of the original show, and then watch the movie.
Yeah, Joe mentioned the movie as well. I am definitely planning to watch that at the end of the show.
Now, I was keen to ask you about Blue Lock. You said that you were watching Blue Lock, and it was one that I didn't even hear of. I don't even know what it's about. I pulled up
It's like
when
soccer.
looking for it. I was like, "What is it about?" And then I saw a little tiny soccer ball. I was like, "Oh, I wonder if it's a sports show." Is that right?
Yes, well, believe it or not, initially I would not have paid any attention to that anime at all because I'm not really into sports in the slightest. But
Ooh.
basically, Laura from the group messaged me. He's like, "Oh, Blue Walk. I know it might not interest you, but just watch it. Just trust me. It's really worth it." And when I did watch it, I was actually quite surprised because it wasn't just like a generic normal sports anime. It was actually it was almost like a death battle game, except without the death. Like there was actually like it was much more intense, high stakes to it, if you know what I'm saying. Like because if they didn't actually play with the game, if they didn't take part in the game, or like if they didn't win this championship, they could end up never being able to play again. Like it was actually some much more serious stakes, if you know what I'm saying.
I like high stakes stuff. Like if
Yes.
if there's not necessarily death as high stakes, but like just anything that's high stakes, like it's like, oh, this is win or lose. Like there is things on the line. I like that.
I tend to like death high stakes the most, I must say.
Yeah, I do like a good death battle. All right, Nishi, what about you? Do you have a count of how many you're watching this season?
I guess let me pull up my anime list real quick. I literally added all the ones I was gonna watch like last night. So I'm watching like right now about 13, which
Okay.
is pretty good. But I think overall my favorite right now has been Beast Tamer. I love just how fun it is. Such a fun show. I haven't seen the new episode today yet because it just came out, but I'm very keen to watch it, especially since I think with this new episode, since it's the title, they're already introducing the other characters, which was the main thing that I guess upset me about what was it, Harem Labyrinth from last season. So yeah, but Beast Tamer is incredibly fun. I absolutely love Kanade. She's absolute cinnamon roll. But yeah, very fun, and I think I'll probably like all the other characters that they eventually introduce. I mean, you can see them in the opening in there. all adorable in my opinion. So
It was a nice one. I don't know if I would rate it as the one that I'm enjoying the most out of all of them, but I am enjoying Beast Tamers. I think another one came out this morning, didn't it?
yeah, it was the main 5 shows I was watching at the beginning of the season all come out on Saturday, and I was like, man, I have like nothing to watch until Saturday.
I think
But
Little Lies We Tell came out as well, and I'm like, damn. So I think there's almost 10 shows out on a Saturday.
I actually quite like not watching them all during the week, so I can spend more time. So I have time to watch others to like binge watch as well.
oh yeah, I like when I at least have like maybe 1 or 2 per day to watch. Like last season was like almost perfect, where I had like every single day I had at least 1 to 2 anime I could watch seasonally. Because that way I'm not just like on Saturday spending 4 hours watching just seasonals.
You call it Beast Hammer.
Beast Tamer.
How,
Yeah, Beast Tamer, yeah.
How do you actually spell that? Because I can't see anything about Beast Hammer.
It's just like Beast, like Beast, and then Tamer, like taming something.
Like taming a beast.
Yeah.
Oh right, it's not like Beast Hammer then. No, it's yeah.
I've never heard of it being pronounced as Beast Tamer before.
Oh, it is. Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, I have seen pics from it. Yeah.
What are one of the other 2 that you're watching, Nishi?
Obviously, I like Uzaki-chan's the other one I'm watching for sure. Season 2. I mean, who doesn't love Uzaki, right?
I mean,
yeah.
I like Uzaki.
So yeah, I mean, just a fun show.
I like her family.
I also really like her family's hilarious in my opinion. I'm glad to see more of the rest of her family. But I really like their dynamic. I mean, I love all the like teasing ones. Like Nagatoro is probably my favorite, but then Uzaki is probably my second favorite of the like teasing ones with like a senpai and a kohai or some like stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Are you liking season 2 more than season 1?
I would say they're probably about even. I mean, they're only like what 2 episodes into season 2, so like, I mean, I feel like in the way it's going though, I might and probably will like it more than season 1, just because I think it's focusing a lot more on the relationship of the 2, like of Ozaki and Senpai. So I actually don't even remember his name. He's just Senpai.
If there's actual character growth between them, I'll be happy. If it just ends up with the same place as they are at the start, I probably won't like season 2 as much as season 1. I really liked season 1.
I'll probably like it more anyway, I would say, just because there's a lot more. It feels like they're a lot more familiar with each other, and they get into more of these like typical rom-com situations that I really enjoy. So,
like head stuck in the bush with ass out.
well, that one, but like I mean, like at the episode, like at the end of episode 1, where they like fall asleep next to each other, right? And then like he uses her as a hug pillow. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and what was the other one you said you were watching? I don't know. Is it Fufu? Is there a short name for it?
I actually don't know. It's just like, yeah, I just call it like More Than a Married Couple, but
not lovers.
Yeah, but not lovers.
Oh yes, I'm really liking that one.
Yeah, it's I think it's really good. I actually really love the art and the character design and everything. That's like, I think it's stand out this season, at least for me. But it's since I literally know absolutely nothing about it, I mean,
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I really like I actually don't hate the MC like or I'm not also indifferent to him. I like kind of his personality. And then the main girl, what is it, Akadi, I think is her name. She's cute even though she has that kind of like
bitchy Sunday vibe.
Yeah, like bitchy like Garu vibe, right? Like
my girlfriend is a gal.
I'm really liking the pink haired girl, I must say.
Yeah, and then the only thing that like I don't like, and it's like literally one of the like 2 things I do not like in anime, and I think it's more just doing it to like tease it than anything else. Is kind of like the random NTR vibes that you get with the MC and the brown hair girl.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of like, I'm like, okay, just dial that down a little bit, and I think we'll be okay. But I think it feels like that because we don't know the other guy who's actually in this photo, the blonde haired dude. You don't know who he is as a person, so like whether or not these guys become friends or whatever, like I literally do not know. But it doesn't seem like it's that type of anime where it's going to be like NTR, NTR, NTR. And I'm like, so I'm
It seems
hoping it
it, it seems too light-hearted to be that kind. I think, doesn't it?
exactly, yeah. So
I think the end goal will be old mate ending up with this pink-haired chick. The
yeah, I
brunette,
mean,
the
if it,
brunette probably likes him as well, but the blonde-haired guy probably makes a move on her
yeah, I
and
was about to say like
throws everyone
if
off. I think
we
that's the direction it's going.
yeah, I mean, if we go by the like typical rom-com anime girl curse, right? The childhood friend always loses, so and it's always the new girl.
Yep, the childhood friend always loses.
I wouldn't be surprised if she cuts her hair to be short, to make
I was
it
gonna say short-haired girl. They never win.
yeah,
Uh,
but I think the a lot of that like kind of bitchy galu vibe will fade out of the main girl and she'll become like just a total sweetheart. Because even though she's like faking it, I really love like her like faking it personality, right? That's probably also like I'd say deep down it's probably more who she is than like kind of the like mean street garu that she kind of puts up in some situations.
yeah, I have a quick look at what my total is. I think I cut this back. I think I was up to 48 on Friday, and
Jesus, yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, man, I just know like I'm not gonna have the time to watch that many. Um,
48. Wow.
keeping up with 48. I'm on 44, so I cut it back. I've cut it back to 44, not including my nominations. So, but that's fine. What I did want to talk about the couple episodes that I watched over this last week were just ones that I guess I was surprised by. So I watched what is it, The Eminence and Shadow, and
I just watched that Sunny too.
I was like, if you've ever hear me bang on about shows or thrillers and stuff, I have a pretty high success rate of predicting what's going to come. And I was watching this show, and at the end of the first episode, it caught me by surprise. I was like, "Oh, I did not expect that to happen." I was like, "Okay, but that's fine." And then it starts off with episode two, and then episode two, I'm sort of following along, and then right at the end of episode two, another thing happened. I'm like, "Right, I was not
Yeah,
expecting that either." And I'm like, "Okay."
same.
So now it's like, "Okay, this show has got me hooked. If it can keep doing that." This is going to be one of my favorite shows this season because it's not often that I get to experience, oh, damn, I didn't see that coming. There's a few films. The Departed had this moment. It's the one that stands out to me the most. But this show is sort of having those vibes where it's sort of coming back to me. Oh, that's happened. Okay, that didn't. I was not expecting that. So I really enjoyed that. You felt that too, Nishi?
Yeah, it was I really liked the like the vibe it gave off from like so I saw a clip of it and it got me interested in the show and then when I read up more on it like a actual like a better than the Mal synopsis that they have on Mal, right? Like I actually read a little bit of the wiki and I was like, oh, okay, this actually sounds super cool because it kind of gave me like semi Ari Ferretta vibes, like
Yeah,
just like a little bit. So I was kind of like, oh, I think I'll probably watch this. And then I saw that there's like all these cool like girls in the show and I was like okay that if I didn't want to watch it that's gonna make me want to watch it and so yeah I picked it up and then I've watched the two episodes last night and yeah I thought it was super cool. I liked how it kind of keeps you guessing. You're kind of like wait what.
yeah. I like Alpha at the moment. She's probably my favorite of them. It's not that we've had much experience with all of the characters yet, but I do like Alpha. She's the one that I'm keeping my eye on. Another show that sort of caught me by surprise was Akiba Maid Cafe. I didn't know what this was about. Again, this was just one I was like, oh, a maid cafe show. Oh, I'll watch that. And then, boy, oh boy, was I blown by surprise with the end of that first episode. I was like, oh, it's that type of show. I didn't like it. Just it kind of reminded me. I think I said this in all chat of the Kingsman. You seen that with Colin Firth?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Kingsman. I like that
and
one.
so you're watching it. It's a spy film. You're like, oh, okay, cool. It is what it is. And then the church scene. And you're like, oh, I was not really expecting it to go that far. And this sort of had that same vibe. So I was very happy with that. I don't think this will be my favorite show. But I am. It's one of those little guilty pleasures. I am really enjoying how just silly it is. I don't know if there's another word to describe it, but yeah, it's awfully silly.
Yeah,
Um,
just over the top.
yeah, over the top. That's exactly right. Now, the other film, or not film, the other show that I am actually enjoying is Reincarnated as a Sword. Now, I didn't think there was too much of the title, and I really wasn't going to watch this. I thought this was going to be stupid. Like Reincarnated as a Slime was a thing. Then we had Komoku, and I just I don't need another one. And then I decided to watch the first episode, and it did hook me. I am a sucker for these type of shows anyway, but I liked how they handled how he's come back as a sword. Um, and it didn't spend 3 episodes on him by himself. It really quickly introduced Fran, the cat girl, and she is by far the star of the show, and I really like her.
Yeah, I just watched those. I think I watched the first episode, and I might have fallen asleep during the second episode because I hadn't gone to bed, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. So, but yeah, from what I did saw, I really liked how it introduced him as a sword, and then I actually really like the cat girl Fran. She was adorable. She kind of reminded me like personality wise a little bit, like just slightly some aspects of like Yue from Arifureta. Like she kind of had that kind of like I kind of don't know what's going on, but like I'm also stoic at times and just kind of like take things as they come. So yeah, I think I need to finish watching season 2 or episode 2, but I also thought it did a really good job and got me hooked as well.
Yeah, there was a couple of comedic scenes. If you haven't seen them, I don't really want to spoil them though. Have you
Um,
did you fall asleep like when they were looking for clothes?
I think I might have. I think I barely remember that, and I probably fell asleep like literally about 5 seconds
Right.
after that happened.
That show had me cackling for joy.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was adorable when she was like laying in the cart, hugging him, and
Yeah.
also how she named him. Like, I thought when she named him, that was hilarious. I was like, this makes sense, but like, it felt like Megumin like naming Chun Chun Maru. It kind of felt like
Oh yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on to our nominations, there was I wouldn't say the elephant in the room, but there was one thing I did want to have a quick rant about. And it's the Full Metal Alchemist versus Bleach situation. If you guys all saw it all over Facebook, and it happens every season. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it
every
is happening
season.
lately. Yeah,
Kaguya, it did it with Kaguya. It's done it with Bleach. Oh, it's overtaken Full Metal Alchemist as the number one anime, as if it was ever going to be the number one anime. You really, in order to have Mal say it is, you just need one vote to say 10 out of 10, and oh my God, it's the number one anime. But it did rake in 100,000. I think you got about this. About 90,000 viewers have voted it um, at the moment on currently watching, and it passed Full Metal Alchemist. And I don't think it's deserving of the number one spot by any mean. Bleach,
no,
it is enjoyable, but I did want to talk about how quickly it got deranked from number one to number two, just with the record amount of ones that it got. Right, so I did some calculations of this during the week, and I did post some of them where it got 5% of total votes is number one overnight. So it just came in overnight. These are the stats as of this morning, but um, it's got more votes, like 10 times more people were voting this 1 out of 10 than the original Bleach. So the original,
wow,
the
yeah,
original, like the original Bleach isn't this bad. Um, And then compared to all the other top 50, the top 50's average percentage is like 0.9. 0.9% of total votes vote at 1 out of 10. And like here it is at 5%. Like there is no other anime that has a higher rating of number 1 in the top 20. And it's just, and it happened overnight. Why? As soon as it became number 1, all of a sudden,
Yeah,
all these 1 out of
I
10s.
actually,
It's like, it sounds pretty sus. I know everyone's like, oh,
yeah,
it's not Full Metal Alchemist fans. I'm like, oh, well, it's definitely Full Metal Alchemist fans.
yeah. I saw someone in the group recently say, "Oh, people keep blaming Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood fans, but it's people just not everyone likes the same thing." And I'm kind of like, oh, "Come on, it's not gonna. You wouldn't get that many ones in such a short amount of time for like if it wasn't Brotherhood fans, really, would you? Like, it's pretty unlikely that you'd get that it would happen."
It's a bizarre thing to do when it's so early into the show. Like this is probably going to end outside the top 20 by the time it's done, or maybe outside the top
Yeah.
10 at least. You know, once this hits 200,000 or 300,000 views, once it's dubbed and people are starting to complete it, it's probably going to come back with 7, 8s, and 9s. It's not going to have all 10s. The people that are rating it all 10 are rating it all 10, you know, because it's still ongoing. They're enjoying the hype, I think.
Because they're just super hyped, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time Bleach has been back in years. So.
But it's probably the 30,000 people that already rated Bleach 1 10 out of 10, right? Because it's got like 140,000 10 out of 10s. And so the die-hard Bleach fans from there, the 30,000 fans, the die-hard Bleach fans, are probably the same fans here. But once all of those other fans come across and, you know, this gets 500,000 views, it's probably going to end up outside the top 10. You see, you know, people that are like, oh yeah, I'll watch it. Like my brother's he's a pretty good fan, but he'll only watch it dub. But Bleach isn't his favorite anime. He would vote this probably a 7 or 8, I would think. And once more of those, majority of those people come through, it was never going to be number 1. Chainsaw Man though probably could have been. I think Chainsaw
Yeah.
Man is
I've
definitely
been
good enough.
I've been surprised that's not been number 1. I must say, Chainsaw Man. Yeah.
Yeah, they release the same day, don't they?
I feel like
Do
that would
they?
be more deserving of number 1 than Bleach.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our Anime Club nominations. So I might briefly just go through what Anime Club nominations are for anyone that's watching this on YouTube. Our Discord server has like a secret Santa, I think you would call it, a secret Santa way of giving anime recommendations to everyone in the group or in the club. So I might get nominated 4 or 5 anime from someone. I might nominate 4 or 5 anime to someone else. Then everyone gets to choose 1, 2, 3, or all of them, and then we watch them and then sort of give our feedback on what we think of those shows that we watch. So we've probably been doing this for 6 months, do you think? Has it been about 6 months, maybe even a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably around there.
The history of it would be Cameron, Alex, myself, and Max were in another server that used to do this, but instead of where we give anime individually, the server as a whole would watch a particular show, and then we'd come back, which I wouldn't mind doing something similar again. I think Cameron, you're talking about maybe doing something like that and running that, but I really enjoy this little bit more personalized feel of these club nominations that we're getting. So I'm actually watching things like everything that I've watched so far hasn't been awful. A lot of things that people I think are taking a look at what I currently enjoy. I've found some absolute bangers. One of my favorite nominations I took was Shimonetta. I don't know what the English name is for that, but geez, that was hilarious.
It was like it's like a place where like dirty jokes don't exist or something like
Uh-huh,
that.
yeah, and
Yeah, it's a really really long name.
that's me to a T. I
Mhm.
love dirty jokes, but I love that type of crude humor as well.
Yeah,
And so yeah, really grateful for the Anime Club doing that. I used to take quite a lot, and I would just take everything, but this season, because I've got so many seasonals that are on the books, I think I've only taken 1 or 2 nominations this season. It's unfortunately, but I did want to just go through since we finished up the season, this rotation last week, all of our old nominations. You know, maybe just touch 2 minutes each on what you had for your old nomination, what you thought of it, then what your current nominations are. Maybe next week we'll touch on, if we've finished any of the new nominations sort of as we go. So maybe Nushi, since you had the most from last rotation, what were the ones that you were stand out of the nominations that you got?
Yeah. Well, of course, I'll say the big one was K-On! I still need to watch the movie, and I'm planning on watching it this weekend, just because it wasn't available on a streaming platform, so I just gotta like find it somewhere and watch it. But K-On! Was absolutely great, super fun show. And then the other one that I had was I watched Classroom of the Elite, so that was a seasonal, but I hadn't seen season one, so I watched season one and season two after it was finished. And I really enjoyed Classroom of the Elite. I think I rated it like a 7 or 8 or something, maybe an 8. I liked the new season more than the first season. But I thought that one was pretty good. I did enjoy it quite a bit, and then I'll probably watch all the coming seasons that come out. I just liked the kind of school games, high level intelligent battles that they kind of went through, and then a low key great one, which I had actually seen the intro. I think it's the intro, one of the intros, used in like compilations for like openings for like YouTube channels. Was Is the Order a Rabbit? Absolutely adorable show. All the girls are amazing. I know that Alex loves Chino, but Cocoa was actually my favorite. I really loved Cocoa. She was just the biggest, like, fullest sweetheart. Um,
Who's the girl with the gun?
I can never remember these names.
Yes, the girl with the gun was my favorite, I think.
Yeah, she was really good too. I also really liked the blonde hair maid girl. She was super funny in my opinion. I'm actually gonna look for this, like, because it's gonna bother me what all the girls' names were.
What were the other selections of old anime?
Then I also I finally watched the movie Silent Voice. That one was also really good. It was what do you call it? I mean, it was I knew it was gonna be a sad show, and it was. But I think it was done in a very, very great job. Like there's obviously characters everyone has a different character that they really don't like, that they really do like. In my opinion, I actually thought that the best character in it was her little sister. She was low key my
Yeah.
favorite, I think,
Yep, I
in
respect that.
that. And
Yeah.
also her mom. Her mom was like top tier mom.
Yes, except I don't know. I don't know if how I feel about it. Her mum, her decision to go back home right at the end. I feel like her mum should have been aware that that was going to be like where her state of mind was,
Yeah, I
and that
mean,
and that sort of just bothers me. But other than that, her mum is really cool.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, right? Because like at the beginning, it showed the dude and his mom, like, maybe kind of knew, but I think he gave off more vibes that that's the way he was going, but she wouldn't have stopped him either.
She
So
did
that's
stop
why
him.
I mean, after he decided to not go through with it, though, leading up to it,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I
like,
see what you're saying.
so yeah, so I kind of felt like it was the same similar situation.
What did you end up rating a Silent Voice?
I gave it a 9.
Okay, respectable.
Yeah. Hmm.
Where does it sit for you, Alex?
Um, I'd say like a 9 or 10. I think.
9 or 10. Cameron, have you seen a Silent Voice?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's about a 9 for me too. Excuse me.
You're excused. I respect that. Yeah, it's a 10 out of. It's a, I think I put it in a 10 out of 10. It's my favorite anime movie that's not attached to a series. So as a standalone movie, I really enjoy it. But I like sign language. She does don't know if you know, she does this hand sign when she says baka, and it's the English sign for B and K in single hand sign.
Oh,
So I
nice.
was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Baka. So I sort of like twigged onto it. That's very interesting. What was your last one, Nishi?
Yeah, so my last one that I just finished the main series. I still need to watch the movie though. is the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. So I really liked it. It was not what I was expecting, kind of what I was expecting. It kind of did a little bit of both, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that threw me for a loop was Haruhi was not at all the personality that I thought she was going to be by her looks. Like literally not at all. Um, so I thought that was very interesting right off the bat. And
What did you
I
think
mean,
she
like,
was going to be?
Yeah, what were you expecting?
like I was expecting not like Asahina type, like cutesy kind of helpfulness, but I thought she would be kind of more like, I guess not as like steadfast, hard-headed as she was. I expected her to be a more reasonable person. I guess is like the best way I can put it. Like I expected her to be a girl that like knew what she wanted to do, but like would take the opinions of others, like work out a best situation with them, et cetera, et cetera. And she was not at all
She
like
was
that.
definitely not that.
No.
And it's not like I was disappointed that that's how she was either. I was like, it was just like, oh, I did not expect that whatsoever. And I'm enjoying this because, like, I think when I first commented on it, I was like, is this what Gatmoe is? Like, where she looks a certain way and she acts totally different. Like, that's kind of how it felt to me. Was like there was such a gap in how I imagined her and then how she actually was. I haven't ranked it yet, because I haven't watched the movie.
I'm
But
interested to know where it sits before the movie and then where it sits after the movie.
yeah, so right now I think I'm planning on giving it about an 8.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
where I was. I would have given it probably a 10 if it wasn't for that movie making arc. I really did not like that arc. It was not because like it was a bad story. It was because of how Haruhi acted that entire time, and it like kind of just made me angry because I really like Asahina. I thought she's probably my favorite character just because of like she's such a cinnamon roll, and like I think it's adorable how she does the whole like, oh, that's classified information. But then also then all this is also classified information. Like
Oh yeah.
I
I
thought it
was
was
wondering
really
who your favorite
good.
was. Yeah.
I really liked Asahina, and I mean, I really liked all of them, but like, it was, I just didn't like, I really don't like when characters act that way to other, like, really good characters that do not deserve it whatsoever. Um, so that kind of put a little sour taste in my mouth, but yeah, I really like all the characters though. Otherwise, I even really liked the MC.
He was
He was an interesting character.
he
Like
was
I didn't,
not the worst.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and then I've only heard amazing things about the movie, so I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I
The
hope it
movie
lives
is the
up to your
best.
yeah. I agree. I hope it lives up to your expectations though, because I hate it when someone says like it's amazing, it's amazing, amazing. Now you've got high expectations and you watch it and it's
Yeah,
like
true.
it's not as good as it was hyped up to be. Like it doesn't mean it's not good, but yeah, I would hate that. I mean, I was expecting amazing things from Haruhi when I watched it. Thank you, Alex. It was not amazing. Thank you, Alex. so, so I was no, I objectively I think it does what it does with the Endless Eight. I think is actually the biggest ballsy move a studio could ever do. Let's torture our viewers, so they know what it's like to just have a shitty life. And like they purposely do this to their viewers. And it's like, man, you got to have some kahunas on you to like suggest to, the CEOs of the studio or whatever, just say, hey, listen, we've already made this episode. We're just going to make this episode again for 2 months and air it and see if fans still like the show. So I respect them for taking that chance. I do think it's a good idea in practice. I think 8 episodes is too long though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't need to be 8 episodes.
I would say it reminded me of the well, I mean, Bunny Girl basically did the same type of deal, except that was all condensed into just one episode, right? But I really
Yeah.
like that was probably favorite arc. Like taking setting aside the movie of Bunny Girl, that was probably my favorite arc in the Bunny Girl show. So that's why I was like, when I watched it, even though I I did know it was coming to an extent. I didn't know exactly like any of the details of it. I actually enjoyed it for what it was, to be honest. Though it was very interesting to see like how that whole thing was ended up getting resolved. Also, it made me really, really like Yuki. I really liked her in that
Oh
series.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's got to be torture. What was it? 13,000 iterations or something like some ridiculous time. I think I worked it out. It was like 500 years, bro.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
that must
500
be
years.
really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when they came out to it, they had spent like 595 years
Yeah.
like
I mean, if
repeating the
it's,
same thing.
I guess that's it. Like, if it's frustrating to watch it for 8 episodes, imagine living it for that many years.
Yeah, and I mean the only one that actually knew it was Nagato. Like that was I guess the one thing I felt that was sort of odd about it. Maybe it's just because like I was trying to project on how I would respond in those situations where like Yuki would say like, "Yeah, we spent this much time doing it," and everyone just like kind of does the same thing anyway. Like they're not like the MC was kind of wasn't doing what I would do, which is like, "Oh, she probably knows already what I'm gonna say." I would ask like, "How many times have we had this conversation?" Like blah blah blah, and like try and find out more things, but then again, Nagato may not have actually given you that information, so who knows?
One thing I did really like about it, and like if you think about time traveling shows or movies or things that series that have time travel in it, is that typically if I punch in question, let's say you have 5 questions or events, and you do A, B, C, D, the answer's always E for the fifth event. Whereas in these iterations that we saw, B wasn't the same in the second iteration as was in the first. Like they don't go to the same place in a couple of the movies, and they're not wearing the same clothes. They don't go to the same club at the end of the like, you know what I mean? Like there was all these little things that were different, and it's sort of I enjoyed that part of this world's version of time travel was like it's like you're on the same path, but certain events aren't always going to be the same. And I do like that. If you could repeat yourself, whether or not you're making those changes, like the butterfly effect, or it's just if you think of the multiverse, well, there's 5 different versions of me doing this podcast right now, but they might be talking about something different, or a different show, or with different people that are in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah,
the
That's always
exactly.
same,
interesting.
but it's slightly different, and I really did enjoy that about that part of the show.
Yeah, I did like how when she would explain like, oh yeah, like on this go through, we didn't end up going to the festival, and like on this one, we ended up not doing the costumes at the grocery store for the part-time job. We did this other thing, like, and I was like, oh okay.
All right. Before we move on, what were the nominations you've got or you've taken this week?
So I still have leftover ones because Alex gave me a ton, and I accepted all of them because I needed to watch them.
Yep.
Um,
But the new ones,
so
what are the new ones, or are they still left over?
yeah, they're still leftover, but ones that I'm gonna watch though from that leftover pile is Made in Abyss. I'm gonna watch first because the second season just ended last season. Um, so I'm gonna watch that one, and then I'm also gonna watch Jihei-sama because it's like 21 episodes or whatever. So it's like one of the only ones left that's not multiple seasons,
It's
I think.
20. I think it's a flat 20. It's being
Okay.
dubbed at the moment, which is pretty cool because it ended, I think, last year, and it's up to episode 14 dub. I know you don't watch dub, but for anyone that is interested, Jahi-sama is being dubbed right now.
So yeah, because I was gonna watch it when it came out, and then for some reason I just didn't. I think I just had other stuff going. I was just watching too many other things and forgot about it. But it did look really funny, like dumb humor, kind of like how I like. So I will probably enjoy it.
It's cool. She's cute, and I like that she has her 2 forms, her small form and her like adult form.
Mhm.
They're both great versions of her.
Yeah.
I'm keen to see what you give that at the end.
Yeah, I'm predicting around a 7 or an 8, if I had to guess. Unless the comedy
Yeah,
for
that's
some
fine.
reason just does not hit at all, then it might be lower than that. But my guess is I'll probably find it funny.
Yeah, I suspect so.
Mhm.
All right, Alex, what were your nominations from last rotation?
The last rotation, I had Summer Ghost.
Okay.
That was one of the ones I had.
What do you think of Summer Ghost?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like it was quite a short film. I think it was like 39 minutes, but I thought it was a really well told story in that time. I must say,
I
really
liked it.
enjoyed it.
It wasn't great. I remember watching it because it was on season. Was it late last year? I remember thinking, "Oh, I'll watch this," and when I saw episode 1, and then it was like, no, episode 2. Yeah. What do you give it out of 10?
Like an 8.
Okay, pretty strong. Do you know who the studio is?
Um,
If
I
you don't know,
can.
that's all right. I was
I don't know, to be honest.
I just know, like, visually, it's a really good looking film. Story's interesting, but the animation's
Yeah,
really nice.
it was very pretty. Yeah.
What were the other ones that you had?
I had Ni no Kuni, another
Okay.
film.
What was that about?
Yeah. Basically, it's like an isekai. There is this girl that they needed to. I'm not very good at giving synopsises. But basically, when they go into this world and they need to help out this girl, but there's like another version of her in this other world that affects, that kind of thing. That's basically what
Yep.
happens in the film. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's like a multi-universe thing.
Sort of.
Multiverse thing. Cool. And what'd you give that out of 10?
Like a 6.5, like a 6 or 7
Okay. Is that a show or a movie?
movie.
Okay, I haven't heard of this at all. I remember when I looked up the picture for it, I was like, oh, I don't recognize it. And did you have any
Yeah.
other nominations?
Yeah, the Horimiya OVA.
Yep, I do have that. Did you watch it or have you finished it?
Yeah, I've almost finished it. Basically, it's like it actually was released long. It was actually released long before the series was.
Oh, this comes out
Um,
first.
Yeah,
yes,
I
it
was
has much older animation. Like you
yeah,
can
I
definitely
was
tell. It's
I was
almost like
thinking like oh sorry, I was like, wait, there's a new OVA for Horimiya? I haven't watched it yet. I gotta go watch that. But then I see the picture now and I'm like, oh, that's the original.
it's actually
It's
like a
the
shorter version of the
yeah.
series.
I'll
Yeah,
watch that then because I didn't know that and I'm interested in watching it. Do you think
like 6
was it
episodes.
enjoyable?
Yeah. I prefer the new one. I'd say.
I've definitely like looking at it. I definitely prefer the new animation of it.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it also claims on MEL it finished in 2021, but the thing is, like it says it started in 2012 and finished in 2021, but it also says it has 6 episodes, and it actually doesn't. It has 4. And I also remember in 21 it's saying it was going to continue, but it's gone past that time and it hasn't continued. So I'm not so sure I believe that it actually finished in 2021 at all.
It's one of those ones. Yeah, it's either one of those episodes must be a double episode, or it was supposed to release episode 5 and 6 and they never did. I remember Ancient Magus Bride was supposed to have all 3 of its overs out in 1 month, and it took almost 12 months for the 3 overs to come out. All right, what about
Yeah.
your new nominations?
Yeah, I've been given quite a few OVAs and more anime films. I've been given one of Max's favorite, Pompo, the Cinephile.
Oh, okay, yes. I have seen her in Rin the Rinbot games actually, and I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah. All I know is basically it's about. I think it's to do with some kind of film. Someone that's interested in like filmmaking. I think.
Yep, I thought cinephile was
Cinema.
someone that watches a lot, but if it means someone that makes a lot or is just like into the film industry, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, film industry. Yeah.
What about
Also,
what about the characters? Do you know anything about the main characters or anything like that, or the studio?
The studio is Clap,
Mm.
CLAP.
Do they do anything
I don't
else
know
that I would
anything
know of?
about
Don't know if I noticed the name.
they haven't done that many actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar, at least to me.
Yeah. I know it's one of Max's favorites.
Interesting. He's got so many favorites though.
Yeah. Loads of tens.
He doesn't have as many as Nushi. Nushi, didn't you say you have 210 out of 10s?
I have like so out of I think the percentage might be different now, but I had about 33% of my completed list was about tens. I think I had like 135 or so.
Oh, that's unreal.
Um, it's
My
it's
list,
probably
my
it's
list
probably
of
gone up
tens
a
is
little
really
bit
low.
more. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
it's probably gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, because like I gave a lot of last season, or no, maybe not a lot of last seasons, but like I gave a decent amount of ones from last season. I would say I think a 10. Mostly that were the ones that were just like continuations of stuff that I had seen and already really enjoyed.
Yep.
So yeah, but I think like I can check right now. It's like 100 and I have 146
Oof, that's a
10
lot.
out of 10s.
All right.
Yeah.
Were there any
I don't have very many, I must say.
sorry, were there any other nominations that you took series wise? I know you were given a couple of music videos.
Yeah.
Were there any other
Yeah.
series?
Yeah, I took Sankuria.
Synecurvia.
Yeah. It's called How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend.
Oh,
Oh,
Sakano.
Sakano.
Sa-
Yeah.
Sakano, sorry, yeah. Sakano,
Yeah.
sorry, I got mixed up with a different series, sorry. Sakano,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
it.
I thought you'd
I
already seen
actually have.
this.
Well, here's the thing, you see. I actually saw season 2 on Prime Video, but I didn't realize it was season 2. I actually thought it was the first season because that was literally all that existed of it on Prime Video. By watching, I was actually kind of a bit confused. I thought it might just be down to the subtitles, or just wasn't my favorite form of watching it. But I did actually finish the whole season. But then after that, I realized I watched season 2. So this rotation, I'm hoping to watch season 1 and the movie afterwards as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's cool. And okay, so you kind of already have an idea of who the characters are. Interesting. What did you rate
Yeah.
the second season?
I think it was like a 7.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's one of the shows that I want to watch. I think it's only dubbed though, only sub, which is
Yeah.
not making me bit put off it. It's I've got so little time to watch sub shows because most of my free time that I have to sit and focus on subtitles are spent on seasonals. So all of these shows sort of get pushed at the back of the line.
Yeah,
I
I do
know
prefer to watch dub, really, yeah.
it's a preference, but I don't mind sub. I love not being have stuff spoiled for me, so that's why I watch seasonals as they drop because the amount of memes that I see that sort of give away the show. If I get a hint of it, I can work out what's going to happen. So I try not to get ruined that way. But what I do know of Saikuna, I think it's pronounced Sakano.
Yeah. Sakano.
It's got a lot of references in the background to other animes, and that makes me interested in the show.
Yeah, it's a lot like since I know you've seen it, I don't know if Alex, but it has a lot of like references, kind of like how Outbreak Company does it.
Yep.
hmm Also, like Edo Manga Sensei also kind of does the same thing. Like all those like ones about writing and creating things are the same. Anything centered around it, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think we've got my nomination. So one of the last I only just watched these in the last 2 weeks. So I've been pretty slack. I got the world God only knows. It's not a bad one. It's not particularly one that I would say is high on my list. I'm probably giving it about a 6.5 or a 7. I know there's 3 seasons, but I honestly don't know if I'll watch them. It's not something that really clicked with the humor. I didn't like the main character at all. I did like is it Elise? Was her name Elise?
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I,
the Shinigami girl, the
yeah,
main one.
I liked her.
Hmm.
I actually, to be honest, I like the main character more than most harem main characters.
I would
Actually, because
honestly agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I gave the whole show an 8. Like I wasn't when I first watched anime, it was one of the ones I had seen, and I almost gave everything a 10. But like it was one of the ones that I rated an 8. It was a good show, but not super enjoyable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this. It's like it's okay. It's if I got nominated season 2, I would watch it. And knowing what I know of the series, it wouldn't be the worst. I know that typically some season 2s get better. I found a lot of that, so I would watch it in the hopes that season 2 was better than season 1.
yeah,
It wasn't
I actually thought
unenjoyable. It was just okay. Is how I felt about it. It was okay.
I thought they did. I actually thought the seasons got better as they went along, except the fact that season 3 skips some chapters as well. So that's a bit.
I wouldn't know because I haven't read the manga, but I do know that there's another Shinigami girl that comes, I think, in season 2. I've seen her in the Moodai game, I think, and I like the look of her. I don't know anything about her. I kind of hope to not know anything about her.
Yeah, I think I agree with Alex in that every season gets a lot better, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of the girls, since that's kind of more or less what it centers around, right? More of the best girls, in my opinion, come in season 2 and then further on in season 3.
Okay.
Um, mhm.
Well, I did like
However,
the library girl, actually. What was her name?
yes,
I can't remember her name. Starts with an S, but that was probably my favorite arc, and it sort of took all the way to the end of the first season for me to see that, and I did enjoy how that played out.
yeah, she was probably one of my favorites. And then I don't know if you met her yet, but the teacher.
She doesn't stand out.
Okay. Yeah, she was one of my other ones, and then there was a girl in the third season that stood out to me. But yeah, you kind of have to watch the whole thing, I think, to appreciate it more. Like, I guess, like probably like how you're feeling is like after season 1, you're kind of like, this is not bad, but like,
I think what it is because I got so many other shows. It's sort of like, do I want to watch season 2 more than I'm watching these other shows? And at the
yeah,
moment, no. All the seasonals, I am just enjoying everything. So it's really tough because most of the time when I watch the seasonals, you're picking out 20 at best. And this is the first time I'm like at 40. It's like, geez, can't something just suck? Like, I don't want to I don't want to pick up anything else.
yeah,
But I will say that I didn't finish one of my nominations. I'm halfway through it, so I am still watching it. It's just a slow grind at the moment, and it's more so um, just finding the right time to watch it in amongst all the other shows that I'm watching, and that would be Prison School. This is definitely this is definitely not what I was expecting when I saw it. The amount of maybe fan service would be a good way to describe it that was in this is just hilarious. But I don't like, I guess, the girls in it at all. And some of it's just outright creepy, but hilarious at the same time. Like the girl that enjoys, maybe not enjoys is the word, but the the girl centered around the peeing phenomenon, I guess, in the show. Um,
yeah,
it's she's bizarre, but I would say maybe my favorite, but not to do with being peed on. Just
yeah. That was
it's just maybe
it's
the other two are like the least likable. Is probably the best way to say it. I
yeah,
don't like any of the male characters, so it's like it's a hard one to watch because like the fan service is really really something, but the rest
mhm.
of the show is I don't like any of the characters at all. Really, it's like, well, who do I hate the least is probably the one that I like the most, opposed to liking them. Except for the president's sister, she's alright.
Yeah. It was like how far into it are you? Like how many
Episode
episodes?
6,
Okay.
halfway.
Yeah, yeah. That was one that was like. Yeah, I mean, none of the characters really stand out, but like the humor was just so on point, I think, for me that I think I rated it like an 8 or a 9. I actually can't remember. I watched it probably 2-3 years ago, but like it was
It's
hilarious.
it's a 8.5 for me at the moment. Like I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to end up either an 8 or 9 on Mal, and I'm not sure where yet. We'll see how it finishes. I've got a particular thing in mind that I want to happen for it to be a 9. If it doesn't, it's going to be an 8. But
Okay.
it's sitting about 8.5. And so
Yeah.
that's my old nominations. My current nominations, the one that I've taken, is Noragami, I think it's pronounced. I don't know if that has an English name.
I think it's just Noragami, yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of the characters in a lot of the games. It comes up in Rinbot all the time, and I actually said it in chat like how pissed off I was that I can never guess these characters because I've never seen the show. And I think that that's why I got nominated this was so I could finally watch it.
Yeah.
So I haven't
It's
seen
quite
it.
good, actually.
Yeah, I've seen it around a lot. Like people talk about it, or it's mentioned in not necessarily in top 3 shows, but I think it's popular enough that I should watch it to understand, I guess, what the story's about. Um, yeah, I don't know anything about it at all. So judging by that picture, I'm going to guess it takes place in the modern world and it's not a fantasy. That's about as much as I know about it. The next one that I'm watching is now I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Dorohedoro.
Yeah,
Um,
Dorohedoro.
Oh, yeah.
this is a
Oh, yes. It's,
picture from the manga, I think, but I couldn't find a really nice one of the from the anime. Um, all I know from what I saw is that I think it's a horror,
yeah,
and
horror.
I
Horror.
actually don't like horrors, but I decided to take it to just see if it changes. I'm watching um, Chainsaw Man. I wouldn't call Chainsaw Man a horror, but it's all right. Um, I think I might
I
have
can
seen
definitely
2
tell.
horrors, and I don't really like them, but we'll see how I go with
You
this.
you liked Another, didn't you?
Which one?
Another.
Another. Yeah, I liked another.
That's a horror.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually never heard Dorohedoro called a horror. I've heard of it kind of like a because like I have a friend that loves this show, and it's like a dark fantasy action adventure show. Like he didn't really consider it a horror at all. It was more like a dark fantasy that had a lot of action in it.
The vibe that I got from it
Yeah.
was like Mad Max, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, kind
And I
of.
like Mad Max, which is why I took it. But then someone said horror, and I was like, oh, I think it
In
was
honesty,
flagged that on one of my on Animix Play. Actually, I think it was flagged as horror.
a lot of horror anime aren't really like what you think of as horror.
Well,
A lot of them don't have jump scares.
Mirko-chan, I think, or whatever it's called, is
Yeah.
flagged as horror, and I'm like, that's not horror.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yeah.
closer to a comedy than anything else, but whatever. Yeah, and then the other nomination I took was I already had Made in Abyss from last nominations that I finished, but I didn't flag it in Mal. But I thought I'd take it because I do want to see the movie. So I've just flagged Made in Abyss, the third movie. I'll watch that. But yeah, and those are my nominations. All right, I
Oh yeah, I
think.
can definitely tell. Sorry, I can definitely tell Devil's Girl gave had you.
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's not bad though because she was the one that was sort of in chat when I said I hadn't seen Noragami, and I don't think I had it on my watch list, so it's kind of like perfect that that's the one that I'd be given. Now I think we wanted to end with who's that character for next week. Now, if you recognize her, cool. I'd be
Oh,
interested
okay.
if you don't recognize her though, because um,
Easy
it,
game. I know this one.
yeah, it was one that was like it was hard for me to find a very nice picture.
Hmm.
This will be our first girl in the Who's That character.
Yeah, I mean, I personally enjoyed the show, and this character was my favorite character from that show.
Same here.
So,
I know Max
mhm.
hated on season 2.
Yeah, for some reason,
Hot
as
take.
usual.
I mean,
Yeah,
him and the thing between him and King of Blondes, they pretty much hate every episode or every show out there.
yeah. Yeah.
Like between them both, they can hate everything together.
Yeah. Hate more than they like. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Evie does have a lot of 10 out of 10s as well. He's about
But I,
150 10 out of 10s.
but I feel
Yeah.
like, are they actually 10 out of 10s, or is it like this show was so bad I'm giving it a 10?
I think most of them are actual tens. In the case of Skelter Heaven, though, it was so bad it's giving it a 9. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a load of bollocks, is what that is. I don't know what else to say for that.
I guess though, if he does genuinely enjoy it that much, I mean, it is fair
Yeah,
enough. Isn't it?
yes, I know. I think it's just it's a never-ending raz between us, is just taking the piss out of each other. I thought it was just crap as a movie. Like objectively, everything about it was crap. Um, it's one of those ones where he finds that it was so bad it was funny. And I get what he's saying. For 20 minutes, like you just sort of like, man, how can a studio actually be proud with what they've released here? It's like he's sort of laughing at them because it's hilarious. But I was just like, man, why am I could have watched another episode of something enjoyable, and I can't think of anything that I enjoyed less than that film. Even
I'd
Midori
rather watch.
wasn't worse for me personally, enjoyment wise.
I definitely much rather watch Skelter Heaven over Midori. I must say.
Yeah, but that doesn't surprise me based on your interests that you would not like Midori. I mean, I didn't like Midori. I thought the artwork was interesting though, and the art was better than the art in Skelter Heaven. Everything else about both of them sucked. All right. Anyways, I saw Cameron left. I know that he was having computer troubles, so a little bit belated. But thank you for joining us, Cameron. No doubt we'll have him on the show sometime in the future. I don't know. Maybe we'll have another Discord server member in a few weeks if anyone else is interested. Yeah. Hope you guys have a good week.
Yeah.
See you later. Bye.
NANI